In the orphanage, the rich man took a fancy to me and my sister, and was about to choose between the two. My sister pushed me out. Uncle and aunt, please have mercy on me, sister. Please adopt her. I am still young and there is still a chance. The rich man adopted me as she wished. Everyone praised her kindness and selflessness, and said that I was lucky, but only I knew that he was reborn like me. In the previous life, he was adopted by the rich man first, but became a blood bag of the rich man's own son, while I was adopted by the movie Emperor and his wife shortly after my sister adopted me, and became a big star that everyone paid attention to, but was pushed down from a tall building by my jealous sister. Reborn back to the day when the rich man adopted me, he chose to push me into the fire pit, and he replaced me to become a big star, but he didn't know that I was very grateful to him. After all, compared with the hellish methods of the movie Emperor and his wife, I would rather be a blood bag. Hey, uncle and aunt, please have mercy on me, sister. Please adopt her. I am still young and there is still a chance. My sister pushed me forward with force, her tone trembling with excitement. I looked back and saw excitement and expectation in my sister's eyes. At that moment, I knew that my sister and I were reborn together. This child is so sensible. The richest woman's expression was a little touched. In fact, they were not really that touched, but my sister looked better than me with a rosy face, while I looked thinner and my cheeks were even a little sunken. Compared with me, the healthy sister was more suitable to be the blood bag of their son. When my sister heard it, her body trembled a little, and then the next second, tears were in her eyes. Uncle and aunt, do you dislike my sister for being too thin? My sister is in good health, but she is so thin because she eats too little. She takes care of me all the time. You should adopt her. My sister tearfully told me about my difficulties, and the richest woman's eyes began to be moved. I sneered in my heart. It turned out that he knew everything, knew that I usually took care of him or snatched it from others for a bite of food and gave it to him without eating it, and raised him white and fat, but he didn't realize that he was an ungrateful wolf. He got more and took it for granted. Child, are you willing? The wife of the richest man asked me after hearing what my sister said. I also looked at my sister with reluctance in my eyes. Sister, won't you regret it? What will you do then? I played so many roles in my previous life, and my expression at the moment can be said to be very appropriate. I was even afraid that I would be too happy and expose my true thoughts. Sister, don't you usually listen to me? Listen to me today, too. A sobbing look appeared on my face, and I nodded gently, said okay, and then left with the richest couple without looking back. And my sister, if you want to follow the path I once walked, then you are welcome to come to my former hell. Many years ago, my sister and I were thrown in front of the orphanage together. We had two small signs hanging on our chests, with our date of birth and names written on them. I am the elder sister, so I have taken on the responsibility elder sister since I was a child. Many resources in the orphanage have to be robbed. If you are not strong, you will be bullied. I gave all the resources I robbed to my sister, but she thought she deserved it, but she didn't know that I, who was thin, was the strong one. In my previous life, my sister competed to be the daughter of the richest man, while I was adopted by a movie star couple. Under the training of the movie star couple, I started my journey as a child star and finally became a big star that everyone admired. But my sister became the blood bag of the richest man's son. Because she refused to cooperate, she was tortured beyond recognition. She didn't live a good life. On the other hand, I lived a dazzling life like a rising star and was sought after wherever I went. When she was in the orphanage, she ate better than me. Later, when she was adopted, she was also better than me, but now she is not as good as me. Out of jealousy, my sister pushed me off an old building. In fact, I should thank her. What she didn't know was that I finally got out of the sea of suffering and doubt of that hell. Not long after returning to the richest man's house, I learned from the news that my sister was adopted. It was a huge event. Many media gathered at the scene, and the camera was facing my sister's face. My sister smiled on her little face and happily called the movie star couple mom and dad. The actor and his wife smiled hypocritically and touched my sister's head. You will be our biological daughter from now on. I looked at the smiling faces of the two people across the screen, and my heart suddenly twitched. I was a little dazed, as if I saw a devil waving at me. Come on, it's time to eat. The voice of the richest man's wife brought my thoughts back. She and the servants were preparing dinner for tonight with a kind smile on their faces. Okay, Auntie. The richest man and his wife treated me very well. It can be said that they were meticulous. I even gained a little weight and my complexion began to become rosy, but I also knew that all these came at a price. Because I have a rare HD negative blood type, commonly known as panda blood, and the richest man's son just needs a long-term blood pack with the same blood type. In the previous life, this person was my sister, and in this life it is me, but the way to break the situation is still in my hand. My goal is not just to be an ordinary blood pack. Come on, why are you still calling me aunt? You should call me mom. The richest man's wife patiently touched my head, and I lowered my eyes and asked carefully, will you really not send me back? Do I really have a home? My voice slowly lowered, gradually stained with disappointment, and my shoulders trembled slightly, showing my nervousness and uneasiness. These days I have observed that the richest man's wife is not very kind, but as long as you grasp the most emotional emotion deep in her heart, maybe she is a breakthrough point. Seeing that I am so well behaved and sensible, the richest man's wife couldn't help but feel distressed again. Mom promises you that she will never send you away. The richest man's wife looked at the richest man sitting in the main seat and said, we are your parents. The richest man spoke very little, but he nodded in tacit agreement. The Zhu family is a big family with a lot of business, and it doesn't matter if there is one more or one less person to eat, but I don't just want to be a daughter in name only. With tears in my eyes, I called gratefully Mom and Dad. In my previous life, my sister was arrogant and self-centered. As soon as she got home, she treated herself as a young lady. She was bossy to the servants and looked down on everyone. In a few days, she exhausted the patience of the richest couple. Of course, such a character could not capture people's hearts. I know that everyone is acting now. They are playing good parents, and I am playing a good daughter. It depends on whose acting skills are more popular. I am law-abiding and very careful to be a well-behaved daughter, so that the richest couple gradually let down their garden made them feel that bringing me back was the right thing to do. The richest man's wife took me to the hospital, and I also met the legendary richest son, Zhu Yubai. Zhu Yubai suffers from hemolytic anemia, which makes him look very pale, and he needs a blood transfusion every once in a while. His blood type is very rare, and the best way is to have a long-term stable blood bank. Come on, this is your brother Zhu Yubai. Yubai from now on. Layla, I will be your sister. The richest man's wife gently pushed me forward and introduced us. I don't want a sister. Zhu Yubai lay on the bed with a pale face, his eyes full of disdain for me. But I went up to him without caring, stretched out my hand and held Zhu Yubai's hand, my face full of heartache. Mom, what's right, brother? Zhu Yubai wanted to pull his hand back, but I held it tightly. My brother is sick and needs blood transfusions to survive. The wife of the richest man couldn't help choking when she talked about her son, her eyes full of heartache. No matter how rich she was, she couldn't give Zhu Yubai a completely healthy body. After hearing this, I raised my face slightly with a little bit of poetry, and my eyes were so firm. Then draw my blood, I have a lot, draw my blood, I have a lot, and my brother's illness will be cured. Come on, are you really willing? The richest man's wife was a little excited. It will be very painful to draw blood, and there will be a long need. I still nodded firmly and patted my chest. I am a sister, must protect her brother. The richest man's wife hugged me gratefully. Thank you. Come on. You are such a little angel. Zhu Yubai also turned his face aside and said proudly, who needs your protection? The richest man's wife quickly took me to check the matching, and the matching was very successful. My blood type and Zhu Yubai's are very compatible. The first time I drew blood, the long needle was inserted into my arm. I started to turn pale after drawing half a tube of blood, but I still gritted my teeth and didn't make a sound. The blood draw process was very painful, and various tests were required before each preparation. When the needle was inserted into my hand, it immediately swelled up. My sister in my previous life was so delicate that she couldn't stand the pain of blood drawn day after day. She was very uncooperative and even wanted to murder Zhu Yubai. After being discovered, the richest couple was even more rude to her. And this pain is nothing to me. I have experienced things that are 10 times more painful than this countless times in my previous life. I was just pretending. I pursed my lips tightly, and the richest wife was full of guilt. The more pain I felt, the more guilty they felt, and the more they felt sorry for me. I'm fine. It doesn't hurt as long as my brother's illness can be cured. I looked like a strong little white flower. How distressing. The next time I saw my sister was on EV. She was dressed up brightly, wearing a beautiful princess dress with cute pigtails, and appeared on a variety show with the movie Emperor and his wife. The comments were full of praise for the actor couple and the younger sister. This little princess is so beautiful. Even if she is not a biological child, what's the difference between her appearance and that of a biological child? So touching the suffering this little princess has endured before is just to meet her parents. But I was the only one who noticed that there was a trace of fear in the younger sister's eyes with heavy. Her eyes were completely different from before, and there was no longer the pride and disdain before. Now it's time for ZHI to show her talent. Let's welcome her with applause. After the host said this, the camera cut to the younger sister, who came to the piano and started playing. The melodious music came, and the audience applauded. Only I noticed the haze in the actor couple's eyes, because I heard that my sister played a few syllables wrong, and she should be in trouble when she goes back. In the previous life, the actor couple took me back, and as soon as I got back, I changed the face I had when I was adopted and began to train me. The first step was to lecture me, and I heard it right. They lectured me like a pet. In order to make me obedient, they often locked me up in a small dark room, not giving me food, and then put the food in a dog bowl, making me lie on the ground like a dog to eat. Sometimes they would put only one bowl for me to fight with the dog for food. When I did something wrong, I would be tied to a dog cage. There were two dog chains at home, one for the dog and one for me. They did not treat me as a living person at all, or even a pet or a toy. If I resisted, I would only be abused more severely. They would not let you have any injuries on the surface, but would take a thin and long needle and pierce it into various parts of your body. The needle hole was very small, and the injury could not be seen on the surface, but in fact it was already full of holes. The second step was training. They arranged various courses for me every day to make me a versatile child star. However, if I played a wrong note or danced to the wrong beat, the consequences could be imagined because they required me to be perfect so that they could earn enough face, and I could not resist. Once I resisted, I would face 10 times or 100 times the revenge. In the eyes of these demons, I am nothing more than a toy, and a valuable toy. So in my last life, I worked hard to create value for myself. I seized every opportunity to appear on camera, and then became a star that everyone paid attention to. I became a valuable toy, and their attitude towards me began to improve. Because I was exposed to the camera all year round, they could no longer treat me like they did when I was a child. Just when I thought that good days were finally coming, they packed me up and sent me to the bed of an old man with capital in the circle for their own interests. That is, after that, my sister pushed me off the high building. To this day, I still feel fear and terror when I wake up in the middle of the night. I often wake up with a chill in my back. I hate it. I wish I could drink their blood and eat their flesh. I wish I could kill them. I also hate my sister. I hate that I was so good to her, but she killed me. Before I died, I was even trying to find a way for her to escape the clutches of the Zhu family, but she only saw my glamorous performance. Because of jealousy, my only relative killed me with her own hands. Years of morbid torture have long distorted my psychology. I hate everyone in this world equally, and even hate this world. I didn't pay special attention to my sister's news anymore, because I was busy conquering the richest family. When Zhu Yubai needed me, I became a loyal blood bag. The more well-behaved and sensible I was, the heavier their guilt was, and the more grateful they would be, always making up for me in terms of food, clothing, and daily expenses. Zhu Yubai didn't accept me very much at first. In addition to going to school, I went to the hospital whenever I was free. During the day, I accompanied Zhu Yubai to tell him jokes to make him happy, pushed him downstairs to bask in the sun, and told him bedtime stories before going to bed at night. In fact, children like Shu Yuba are the easiest to handle. People who have been living in the hospital for many years due to illness have always been lonely and have few friends. At this time I appeared. A person who can provide him with companionship and emotional value is often more precious. One night, after I told him a bedtime story, Shu Yubo, I asked me, why are you so good to me? For money, for fame, for profit, for revenge, for myself? Of course I wouldn't answer like that. I smiled sincerely and touched his head. Because you are my brother, my relative. I have been giving you blood for so long, and my blood has been flowing in your body for a long time. We are the closest people. The next second Ju Yubai raised his eyes and saw the large and small needle holes on my arm left by long-term blood transfusions, new and old. Blood transfusions also made my skin whiter than others. I'm sorry, it's all because of me. This was the first time Zhu Yubai apologized to me. He no longer resisted me as he did before, and his eyes were full of apology and guilt. I touched his head and comforted him. I don't blame you as long as you can get better. Then when I get better, you can accompany me to the amusement park. I have never been to an amusement park. Okay, I promise you. From that day on, Zhu Yubai actively cooperated with the treatment and was able to occasionally leave the ward. The richest couple also regarded me as the lucky star of the family. The servants in the family also changed their names from Miss Zhang and Miss to Miss. But this was not enough. I was not a real Zhu family member. Dad, Mom, come and tell Mom, what is this? The richest woman held a bloody skirt that the servants found in my room. I retracted my arms and lowered my head. No, nothing. I just fell down. My acting was poor, like a child who was trying hard to hide a secret, but was full of loopholes. Come on, you never lie. The richest woman obviously didn't believe it. She stepped forward and pulled open my clothes. There were bruises and scratches on my upper arms. Then she pulled open my clothes again. Some wounds were still bleeding. Come on, tell Mom, what's going on? The richest woman's face was so dark that ink could drip out. Under her questioning, I finally cried and told the truth. They bullied me at school, grabbed my hair, beat me, and scolded me for being a child without parents, saying that I was just a wild girl without a name in your family, and that my parents would still drive me out in the future. I cried and sobbed, wishing to cry out all my grievances. The richest woman hugged me, distressed lie to comfort me. At night, I heard a voice coming from the study. It was the richest couple saying, "You don't know how much I love you. How could you let them bully such a good child like this?" In my heart, Layla, I has long been my biological daughter. You must go to school tomorrow to seek justice for Layla. She is also your daughter. In the room, the richest man finally made his final decision. Listen to the man. Those who bullied me were all pushed in front of me the next day. Their parents brought them on to apologize to me, rambling lie, mister. Do you think this is okay? We will transfer to another school immediately, unpromised not to hurt your daughter again. The richest couple sat in the main seat like this, and even the school leaders had to stand on one side. This is power. As long as it is strong enough, everyone will be stepped on. The richest man. Now you should call me the richest father and the richest mother because they are going to change my last name. And I got my new name July. This is not enough. They also specially held a banquet and invited many media to officially announce my identity as the eldest daughter of the Zhu family to the outside world and to everyone. I was wearing exquisite and beautiful haute couture, and the richest mother took me by the hand and introduced me in front of the media. My daughter, Shulai. I sat in front of the piano, my fingertips playing the piano piece to Alice lightly without making a single mistake. It was a perfect interpretation. There were compliments all around. Miss Shu is so beautiful. Her temperament is so similar to Mrs. Shu. Otherwise, how can they be mother and daughter? Miss Shu is so versatile. Your daughter is so graceful. The richest woman's mother couldn't stop smiling after hearing these compliments. I just came out to take a breath, but I didn't expect to see my dear sister again. She was wearing a dress and seemed to be stopped outside the door. She was arguing with the security guard. I should be the daughter of the richest man. Let me in. She should have seen the news on the internet because this was the treatment my sister had never had in her previous life. In her previous life, until her death, my sister had not been recognized by the Zhu family, let alone such a grand announcement to the world. She came in with great momentum, and the jealousy in her eyes reappeared. I thought she would become more restrained after experiencing all that, but I didn't expect that she was still stubborn. Where did this lunatic come from? Don't let her scare the guests. Who do you say is the lunatic? Look carefully, I'm the star Zhang Juice. I don't know. The next second I appeared at the door, and my sister rushed to me as if she had seen a life-saving straw. She was thin, and her eyebrows and eyes were a bit similar to mine, but her temperament was completely different. Sister, says sister, I'm Zhang Juice. She rushed over excitedly. Sister, I pretended to be surprised. Why are you here? Sister, you are a big star now. I see you on TV every day, I said with envy. Sister, can we change again? Can you be a star? Change back? Let's change back. As she said that, she came up and pinched my hand. I shook her hand away with some pain, and the security guard immediately stood in front of me. Sister, what are you talking about? What about changing or not changing? I pretended to be confused, but it seemed that my sister's mechanism was triggered, and she suddenly became crazy in the future. Are you also reborn? In the future? Give me my life back. I am the eldest daughter of the Zhu family. It must be you. Why didn't you tell me? Sister, what are you talking about? Jiang Shi was still yelling, and the noise was so loud that it attracted the richest mother. As soon as Jiang Shi saw the richest mother, his eyes lit up and he began to talk nonsense. Mom, it's me. I'm Zed. You said you would adopt me first, so a daughter back. I'll give Shu Yubi a blood transfusion in the future. Mom, I'm your daughter. Jiang Shi pointed at me viciously. He's just a thief who stole my life. Tears began to fall from my eyes. Mom, my sister's life. You should have adopted my sister. When my sister heard what I said, she began to look proud. Since you said so, why don't you leave quickly? The richest mother grabbed me, then looked at my sister like a fool with lingering fear. Come on, what nonsense are you talking about? You will always be my daughter. I'm so glad they didn't adopt you at that time. You don't deserve to be my daughter. My sister's crazy look is so popular that I guess my richest mother is also glad that she didn't adopt my sister at that time. Bitch! It's all because of you. My sister rushed towards me like crazy, but was stopped by the security guard. Mom, doesn't my sister have a family too? Let's contact her family. The richest mother patted the back of my hand and said, Come on, why are you so kind? My sister was taken away by the security guards, and finally the movie emperor and his wife came to take my sister back. Mr. Zhu, Mrs. Zhu, I'm really sorry. We will definitely discipline our daughter. They pulled my sister's hair in her arms, and my richest mother held me in her arms in a protective manner. My sister struggled to break free. I don't want to go back. Don't go back. The past events are still vivid in my mind. In the last life, no matter how humiliating and difficult my life was, when she said that she was not living well in the Zhu family, I was still trying to make arrangements for her. I will not lend a helping hand in this life. I guess my sister will not have a good life in the days to come after she goes back. She may be locked up in a small dark room, tied in a dog cage, or pierced through her fingertips with a needle, and there are many more tricks. But what does that have to do with me? After all, I'm now the eldest daughter of the Zhu family, and I have nothing to do with the daughter of the movie emperor or movie queen. Sure enough, for a period of time, Zhang Ji never appeared in front of the camera again, and I began to emerge and join Xu Shi. Xu Yubai's condition began to stabilize, and he took some special medicines. He can go to school normally, and the number of blood transfusions began to decrease. I gradually began to take over some of the company's affairs, and each time I completed them well. The outside world's praise for me also gave glory to Xu Shi. The richest father and mother were very satisfied with me. Xu Yubai, on the other hand, had no interest in business. He began to like music and plunged into music. It's enough to have my sister to inherit the group. I don't like to work in the company. I like to play music. Xu Yubai has only recovered like an ordinary person in recent years, but human desires are endless. When Zhu Yubai began to recover, they asked him to inherit the family business again. Isn't it enough for you to play for so many years? Do you want your sister to share such a big responsibility alone? The richest father said sternly. I know they still hope Shuyu but I will inherit the company. After all, no matter how close the relationship is, there is still a difference between biological and adopted children. However, Shu Pi still insists on his musical dream. The richest father was very angry with him, but he couldn't do anything about him. After dinner on the balcony, I asked Shu Bai, do you really not want to come back to inherit the company? Shubai looked at me with a smile. I don't like to inherit the company, and I won't inherit the company. I just want to make music well. Then he looked at me with a firm and low gaze, and I responded to him with my silence. When did I discover Shu Yubai's business talent? When I spent several nights thinking about obscure problems, Shu Yubai pointed out the key to the problem at once. I knew that the capitalist gene inherited in Zhu Yubai's genes was terrible. I suddenly felt a sense of crisis. I wanted to be in power, and Zhu Yubai became my obstacle. When did I find out that Shu Yubai liked me? It was that afternoon. Shu Yubai kissed me on the face, a kiss I pretended not to know. So I casually mentioned I like boys who play the piano well, and Shu Yubai regarded music as his dream. I have to say that he is really a silly boy. Of course I lied to him. I hate piano the most. I admit that I am mean at this moment, but so what? As long as I can achieve my goal. If we can always be like this, then I am willing to spend some time to maintain this so-called family. I quickly became a new legend in the industry with thunderous means, and they all called me Little Zhu. Then I met my dear sister in the box of luxury. I believe that her life is very difficult because my sister has been in a tepid state, and she has not become a big star that everyone pays attention to like me in my previous life. I know the state of actors struggle better than anyone else. In order to climb to a high position, the journey can be said to be a hardship. At this moment, I was surrounded by people, and my sister was a hostess. Come up and put a win. Don't you want the daughter's role? You are just some ignorant little stars who think they are so powerful. A greasy, middle-aged man took the opportunity to pull my sister into his arms, and my sister also hooked his neck obediently. The lights flickered, and my sister turned her head to look into my eyes. This was undoubtedly a huge gap. The next second, he shot up from the greasy man's arms. In the future, hope flashed in his eyes, and he quickly picked up a fruit knife on the table and stabbed me. He wanted to kill me and then be reborn again, but he was dreaming. The bodyguard next to me kicked him aside, and everyone realized what happened. The greasy man also stood up, came over to pull my sister's hair, and slapped her a few times. Bitch, you actually want to attack Mr. Hugh? I think you are tired of living. My sister was slapped and fell to the ground in embarrassment. Mr. Zhu, I'm really sorry. I apologize to you here. I will take the man down and deal with him properly. The greasy man bowed and apologized. Leave him to me. I signaled the bodyguard, and he dragged my sister up. In the huge room, my sister opened her eyes and saw me sitting in the main seat. She crawled towards me in a panic. Future, let's switch again, okay? The richest man wanted to adopt me from the beginning. Then they are demons, and they don't treat me as a human being at all. Future, you will die this time, okay? My sister said in a hoarse voice. My silly sister, you can't use the chance you gave me. At this moment, I stopped pretending. Future has been dead for a long time and died the moment you pushed me down the stairs. My sister reacted and laughed wildly. You're really reborn. I knew it. No wonder you don't want to switch with me. Didn't I give you a chance? It's you who didn't grasp it, Ginger Juice. You said your name is Ginger Juice. Why don't you know anything? Sister, you are too stupid. So I will dominate this game. This face that looks a bit like me is really annoying. My sister suddenly seemed to think of something and cowed out it to me. Sister, I was wrong. I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have been jealous of you and pushed you down the stairs. Can you help me? Now only you can help me. Please, in the future, for the sake of us being sisters, please help me. I never want to go back again. I never want to go back to those two demons. Please help me. Zhang Zh got out at his head heavily, and his tears flowed down. It can be said that he was crying and sobbing. I don't believe that he is sincere in admitting his mistakes, but I still want to help him, my dear sister. Am I not here to help you? After all, you are still my sister. How can I stand by and watch you die? Otherwise, why have the movie Emperor and his wife not been able to get any work in the past 2 years? As a last resort, they still set their sights on Zhang Ji and gave him to the middle-aged greasy man, and my revenge has just begun. In the past few years, I have been suppressing the movie Stark Apple in secret. However, they don't know who they have offended, so they can only vent their anger on their sister. Since their sister is not very popular and doesn't need to appear in front of the camera too much, they became more presumptuous. In many cases, they no longer evade and directly take action. The couple usually attack from both sides. In addition, the sister's fear of them makes her dare not resist. Soon, a video was exposed. The movie star couple, who usually live a peaceful life in the eyes of outsiders, are beating someone with hideous faces, and then the scene switches to some special places where there are frequent visitors. What followed was that they evaded taxes and took drugs. It turned out that the two of them were so crazy because they had a history of drug abuse for many years and were drug enthusiasts. Sadist and drug addicts, the movie star couple lost their reputation overnight. The fame, money, and power they cared about the most were gone overnight. They were also locked up in a drug rehabilitation center because of drug abuse. Every day in there was miserable. They were required to undergo compulsory drug rehabilitation with sticks and electric shocks. I also used some connections to give them a little attention. Not long after, they were on the news again. They attempted suicide in the drug rehabilitation center. Want to die? Don't even think about it. I want them to live a life worse than death, and they don't even know that I'm behind all this. Ginger to skill people. The middle-aged, greasy man who had taken care of my sister before had a mistress outside. He was discovered by the wife of the family. The wife followed the clues and touched my sister. She directly broke into my sister's house with people and the greasy man and taught my sister a lesson in front of the greasy man. They surrounded him, grabbed his hair, slapped his face, and kicked his stomach. In the chaos, my sister found a knife and stabbed the greasy man. In the end, the greasy man lost too much blood and could not be rescued. As my sister's only relative, I was summoned to the court. My sister was already a little mentally ill, and she kept saying, "Rebirth, we will change back in the future, die in the future. I will die in the future." I never knew why my sister hated me so much. Was it because I was so good to her that she felt that I should sacrifice for her while I was alive? She was found not guilty due to mental problems, but I, a good sister, had arranged a nursing home for her with one-stop service. She was destined to spend her life there. There were two sisters in our family. One was called Zhang Lai, but Zhang Lai died. The other was called Zhang Ji, but Zhang Ji was terribly stupid. It seemed that the word Zhang was against me. I returned to the Zhu family. After a few years, my ability became stronger and stronger. The entire Zhu family was completely under my control. No one cared whether I was the biological daughter of the Zhu family. The glory I gave to the Zhu family was far beyond the original Zhu family. I lead it to a higher level. The richest father also announced his abdication, and I succeeded him as the chairman of Zhu Group. When I went back home at night, the servants were packing the luggage for the richest parents. "Dad, Mom, where are you going?" "After I retire, I plan to travel around the world with your mom." "Come on, you have done a good job these years, and Dad believes in you." "I am relieved to leave Zhu Group to you." The richest mother held my hand, her eyes full of love. "Come on, Mom is really grateful that you came to this family. At the beginning, Mom and Dad did bring you back with bad ideas, but later we found out how wrong we were. We shouldn't have simply decided your life. In the future, you should bravely go your own way, but don't forget that Mom and Dad will always be behind you." It was not until my parents left my sight that I realized that my cheeks were warm. Maybe this play has been played for too long, so long that the actors have been immersed in it, and I actually cried. Zhu Yubai went to a foreign university to study music. In the past few years, we have occasionally contacted each other, just like siblings. One day he sent me a message, "Sister, you promised me the amusement park. You won't go back on your word, right?" I replied. You are not a child anymore. Why go to an amusement park? He replied with a woohoo emoticon. This idiot, I actually lied to him because I have never been to an amusement park either.